Ma'am.
We're on.
Good evening and welcome to Planning and Zoning meeting for June the 5th, 2025. I'd like to welcome everyone. Our first order of business, and first of all, we'll introduce our new member, Ms. Jepson. Welcome to the board. We appreciate you taking on the task of joining us here and bringing your input. So tonight we'll start with our public hearing, and our only public hearing is McRoberts Motorsports Conditional Use Permit CUP-101. Mr. Burks?
Okay. As a preliminary matter for this public hearing, I'll ask that the publication notice published in Warren County Record be made part of the record by reference. The city comprehensive plan and the city ordinances be made part of the record by reference, and the planning and zoning officer report be made part of the record by reference. This is the McRoberts Motorsports conditional use and site plan, or just conditional use, CUP-101. The applicant is Scott and Marlene McRoberts. The location is 602 Progress Parkway in Warrenton. It is zone C3 highway commercial, and McRoberts requests an approval of a conditional use and site plan to establish a 4,860 square foot UTV sales, service, and repair shop. The proposed business will operate within the existing structure previously used as the auction house. The facility will support retail sales, mechanical servicing, and repair of the UTVs. Per my report, all site plan or conditional use items have been met and are consistent with our current code. Bart Corman's here, can answer any questions for that on the... Have any questions?
Good evening, Mr. Corman. Well, a little history on that building too. Bart, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It started out as a landscaping business when Mr. Reed built that. It was a very nice building that he built. Knowing James, I knew it was going to be. And then it went to a printing shop. The family that I think that took over Hart Sporting Goods moved their business in there. And then it became Forward Visual, and then they moved, and then it became the auction house for not very long, though, correct?
Not very long, right?
Yeah,
correct.
And now we're wanting to do this, so let's hear about it.
Correct. Yeah. For the record, Bart Corman, Lewis and Beatty, surveyors and engineers, do have Scott and Melanie McRoberts, the applicants here as well. Yeah, you did a good history of that. If you want to roll back before James Reed built the building there was an old commercial like trailer portable building there before that. Don't know what was in it, but that was in there before he built that building there. So the McRoberts had an opportunity to purchase property next to them. As you know, they operate McRoberts Motors, which is right next door, where they do auto sales as well as UTV sales and repairs. So what they're looking at doing is basically kind of separating the UTVs from the auto sales is what they're doing with this opportunity to do that. So we've added some trees and some landscaping requirement, and basically leaving the building as is. But it's a real simple one here today. But we'll answer any questions anybody may have.
Well, I'd like to just make a comment too, or about that. I remember when the McRoberts family came in and started the whole process of opening their business there. Didn't we have a CUP on that too for some of the things that were going to go on there for like because some people were worried about the side-by-sides and the property down there. But I think to my knowledge, they've met everything that they've promised to do, and it looks amazing right down there.
Yeah, that we went through conditional use on that, and there were some conditions placed at that time. Even before, when that time was placed, wasn't even allowed to do a side-by-side drive on the city streets, and so that was some conditions that was put on there. Obviously, things have changed with the legislation and city ordinances. But those conditions still exist on that property. But tonight would be a new set of conditions, if any, placed upon this property.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
See on the drawing the delineated parking spaces. Is that parking lot going to remain gravel? Are we going to pave it?
So at this time, it remain gravel, but they do in time plan to upgrade that. They don't want to have to do that right away if we don't have to.
They certainly, their current building is certainly an asset to the community, both the construction of it and the way it's maintained. So I would expect nothing less.
All right, thank you, Bart. We'll ask any questions later if anybody has any. We'll close our public hearings for this evening and open up our regular planning and zoning meeting for tonight. And the first order of business will be our minutes from May the 1st, 2025 meeting. Entertain a motion if there's no changes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second it.
Have a motion by Mr. Dieterman, second by Mr. Durbin to approve the minutes as submitted. Any other questions or comments or additions? Roll call vote.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper is absent. Mr. Ditterman?
Yes.
Mr. Cornell?
Yes.
Mrs. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Jepson?
I will abstain.
Mr. Costello is absent. Mr. Cullum?
Abstain, I was absent.
And Mr. Barton?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0 with 2 absent and 2 abstentions. We'll move on to our public comments. Melody, do we have any public comments?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. First order of business will be electing a secretary. Since our secretary is no longer on the board, we'll need to elect a secretary for this evening. Take some. We have 2 ladies up here next to us that have notebook paper, so that's a start.
They're qualified.
And one of them just threw it on the floor. So, what a way to open up your first business meeting. Anybody want to nominate Ms. Jepson to be our secretary? And we'll need to have a nomination in a second.
I'll nominate her.
Oh, thanks.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Durbin, second by Mr. Cullum to nominate Ms. Jepson as our new secretary. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Mr. Dieterman?
Yes.
Mr. Cornell?
Yes.
Ms. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Jepson? You can vote.
I guess.
Oh, I always say no every time it comes to me.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Motion passes 8-0 with 2 absent. Congratulations and thank you for joining our board and thank you for stepping in. All right.
Thanks a lot.
So our first order of business tonight will be the McRoberts Motorsport Conditional Use Permit CUP 101. Mr. Burks, do you have anything else to add?
No, and the site plan will leave the same information combined in one report.
It'll be what now?
Same information combined on one
right,
report.
on the site plan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll open it up for questions if Mr. Corman has any, if anybody has any questions for that or what kind of, I don't know what kind of, conditions that we need on there. I mean, on the last conditions, I can't remember what the last conditions were. I know a lot of concerns about but like you said, a lot of the things have changed now. Legislation has changed.
I thought it had to do like with the side-by-sides entering and exiting the roadways,
Yeah.
if they were working on them, but those are null now, so
Yeah.
I don't know what conditional uses we would ask for.
Do you,
I mean, we'd prefer no conditions.
well, no, I know that, but I don't,
You're not coming with that.
well, I don't think there's, I think you've taken care of the, one of the big concerns always anytime we have a new building is landscaping, but I know the McRoberts and they're going to make it look beautiful and, like Mr. Cornell said, how good of a community members they are and supportive of everything that goes on. So does anybody have any conditions they can think of? I mean, hours of operation, can you tell us it's probably going to be basically what the other building will be, give or take?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
My only concern would be,
Mr. Cornell, could you speak into the microphone, please?
my only concern, again, is the gravel lot. Not to the point necessarily where I'm going to recommend or I would want a timeline on that. I certainly do hope that that is one of the first improvements on that lot, and I think that we've been pretty consistent about holding businesses to having a paved lot. So I guess that's just a comment, not that I would
Yeah.
set that as a
Sure.
as a conditional use.
All right. Anyone else have any comments or questions for Mr. Corman or the McRoberts families here?
I just had one question about the test track
Oh,
that is
yeah.
on there. Can you explain that a little better as to what the use will be for that?
Yeah, so obviously UTVs, test driving, so they wanted to be able to have a little spot there And, you know, it's got a big creek over here on the west side, so it kind of gives it that rustic outdoor feel, and so they wanted to put out a little test track there, basically, so people could test drive them right there on the lot, so.
So that will just be for new vehicles or the repairs, like testing out after it's been repaired, just
Right,
to-
it's not going to be a racetrack. We're not racing.
And I think that was actually one of the conditions that we had even way back when, because at that time it was a big concern, are we going to have loose all these, but we did agree that they could take test drives on their property there, because that's very important, selling their products there. Yeah.
Would you like to hear the conditions?
Say again?
Last one, would you like to hear the conditions?
Do you have those?
I do. They
Thanks,
were
sir.
They were updated when they updated their building.
Okay, good.
So in 2022, when they increased the size of their building, number one was vehicles not for sale or kept in the fenced-in area. No disassembled vehicles on the lot. Require the parking lot to be paved. No parking on the grass north of the sidewalk, and UTVs parked on the grass only during business hours. Storage of disposal tires inside of building, and no more than 4 vehicle bays, 3 of which have vehicle lifts. That's the current ones on the current building.
Like I said, they've met every single one of those above what's necessary. Done a good job.
I guess my question would be, I understand that you come here and you'd be good with none. Would any of those, other than of course the bays and the lifts, would any of those be objectionable to this project?
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, just state your name for the record, Mr. McRoberts.
I'm Scott McRoberts, for the record. What was the question again?
So the conditions that he just read that are on your current business, obviously we're not talking about 4 bays, 3 with a lift, but everything else, and that includes the paving of the lot, if there wasn't necessarily a timeline on that. Are any of those, if we put those conditions on this property, would any of those be objectionable or difficult for you to meet with your business plan?
I don't see any, no, I don't see any problem with them.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, a lot of those were, the previous lawyer we had was really adamant about you guys not going in business. And I think a lot of things were put on there.
He was rough.
He was real rough. Because I remember he actually took over the meeting pretty much.
Yeah.
That aside, the board voted to put those conditions in place. I would be interested in maybe, putting those in place, but I don't want to, I know that there's been a financial outlay on the building. I don't want it to be cumbersome with I don't want to set a deadline of, hey, you got to pave your parking lot, because I know that's going to take some time. I would assume, based on what I've seen of your current business, and we've had some discussions, I know your business practice, that was probably in the plans, so.
Well, yeah, Melanie and I are, I mean, when we came to Warrenton and we opened McRoberts Motors, I understand the city attorney, I mean, they didn't know who we were. They didn't know us from anybody. But I assured them, we're going to put something up there that's going to represent our community well. It's going to look better than anything around there. And the site of that building right now, the condition it's in, it's not going to look nothing like it does when I'm done with it. So that's just the way Melanie and I are. We live in the community. Everything we do is to make the community better. And to make people say, man, go Warrenton.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
No, it's going to look very well when we're done with it.
You have done a great job with your current location.
I'm sorry?
You've done a great job
Thank
at
you.
your current location.
Appreciate that.
John, can you go over those conditions one more time?
Sure. Number 1, vehicles not for sale or kept in the fenced-in area. Number 2, no disassembled vehicles on the lot. Number 3, require the parking lot to be paved. Number 4, no parking on the grass north of the sidewalk and UTVs parked on the grass only during business hours. Number 5, storage of disposal tires inside of building. Number 6, no more than 4 vehicle bays, 3 of which may have vehicle lifts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think those are fine as long as there's nothing, no time frame on the paving.
Yeah.
Because the rest of those are basically,
You're already meeting the rest of those with your building, and if you're just pushing over from your current work and your practice to this building, that's why
Yeah.
and I were just talking about
Mr. Burks, do you guys have any concerns about that? Mr. Attorney, Mr. Pryor?
Is this one always on? Yeah.
Yeah, you're on.
So I guess the question on the paving, right? I've heard a few no time frame associated with
Yeah.
that. I mean, that may be a difficult enforcement mechanism, right? Is if the condition's there but there's no time frame, right? That just makes it a little bit confusing.
I agree.
Okay, so
I
What?
would make a,
Well, with being an ATV thing, I mean, the paving is not as crucial as it would be with the other thing. But I know the McRoberts they're probably gonna do it anyway, so I'd hate to put a condition on them, forcing their hands, but the rest of those really make
Right.
sense.
And I will make a note too that per the code, right, that
site plan
for
and a
the
conditional
parking
use.
area,
We're doing two.
mainly just to be maintained in what's quote called dust-free condition, which can be done through, right, obviously
make
gravel's
sure
got
it doesn't
dust, but they can be mitigated and there's options available. So having a gravel parking lot is not a per se issue.
bundle it all. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the site plan for the McRoberts.
Let's do conditional use first. Let's do the
Which
Conditional
one?
use first?
Yeah, conditional use.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the conditional use with the conditions the same as the adjoining property owned by the McRoberts, less the requirement for the paved parking lot and the restriction on the bays, and the lifts and bays. I don't think that's applicable here. I would assume you're not going to have bays and
Well, we're going to have UTVs, the part of the conditional use. UTVs coming in there to get tires fixed or an oil change. Nothing like the extent of what we do at McRoberts Motors. Nothing like that.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Cornell, second by Mr. Cullum to approve the McRoberts Motorsport Conditional Use Permit, CUP-101, with the conditions that the older building has minus the bays and the paved parking lot. Are there any questions or concerns? Are you guys okay with that, Mr. Corman? Roll call vote?
Mr. Cornell?
yes.
Ms. Madden? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Jepson?
Yes.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Detterman?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. That'll come in front of the Board of Aldermen on June the
17th, maybe?
17th, maybe?
Yes.
Yep, 12th.
Good luck. Thank you guys for improving that area.
Thank
Now, we're going to go ahead and, Mr. Corman, if you'll stay there, in case we have, I don't think we'll have any problems, but the next order of business will be the McRoberts Motorsports Site Plan, Site Plan -182, and I don't think there any other, was there any other question or concerns anyone had on the site plan? Because we kind of addressed those as well, with the test track and the pavements.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the site plan 182 for McRoberts Motorsports as displayed and discussed.
Motion by Mr. Cullum, second by Mr. Madden, to approve the McRoberts Motorsports Site Plan -182 as submitted. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Ms. Madden? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Jepson?
Yes.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Detterman?
Yes.
Mr. Cornell?
Motion passes 8-0 with 2 absent. That'll also be on June the 17th. Thank you, Mr. Corman. The next order of business will be the Ragosa Contracting Site Plan 183. Mr. Burks?
The applicant's going to be Ragosa Contracting Service LLC. The location is 1.26 acre lot east of Highway 47 and south of East Wood Street off of North 47. Ragosa Contracting requests site plan approval to construct a new 5,700 square foot commercial building, and an additional 850 square foot expansion is planned on the east side of the building, bringing the proposed total area to 5,922 square feet. The contractor's, the purpose use, the contractor's office with a storefront only, no outdoor storage or yard activity, and a hair salon. The site will be developed for commercial use and will serve as both an administrative office for a contracting business and a location for personal services. Per my report, all site plan items have been met and are consistent with our current code. Do you have any questions for me?
Not yet. Mr. Corbin, are you on that
I am.
side as well?
I am.
Do you have anything you want to add to that at this point?
No, not too much. We're doing an office building there. I'll just tell you, originally we were going to try to do something a little bit bigger with a second building in the back or an addition. We have a small addition proposed there, but there's a big swale ditch going through the middle of this property, and so we have to route that water through there and get it to turn north. And so it's got its challenges with this site to do so. So we had to shrink the building down and push it back to get everything to fit there with a big box culvert with existing utilities that are in that corridor, kind of drive corridor that we have. But we've made it work with what we got here, and so that's what.
Where's the ingress and egress on the property there?
So it's a shared drive there with the Daniels property to the north. So
I see
it's
what
already got its own MoDOT entrance. That's actually half on this property, half on the other one with the shared
That makes sense.
entrance. So we don't have to have another curb cut for MoDOT.
Cool.
So we didn't have to go through that fun stuff. And so we're just hooking onto that and extending it on back and putting a little hammerhead in the back there for turnaround, as well as you can use the parking lot up front for turnaround and stuff too. So we got plenty of movement there. We have enough parking spots, got all the landscaping requirements and everything there. So, and then we squeezed stormwater detention in a very narrow pathway up to the north to Eastwood Street. We had some conversation with the city engineer on whether or not we could just ask for a variance from not doing detention because of the big ditch that's coming through there. And so we looked at both options and went ahead and squeezed in what we could there for stormwater detention.
Open it up for questions from the board.
I have a question. So obviously I'm new, so this is all I'm trying to learn and see and do. And so I actually live down the road from here, and so I've been driving by this week thinking about if there was something there. And so my question is, because it seems like, and maybe I'm just misunderstanding how big it'll be, but it seems like that back part will be pretty close to some residences that are back there. Is that correct? Am I placing that properly?
Yes, or you could also say that those residents are very close to the property line already. So yeah, those residences are about 10, 12 feet off the property line.
Okay.
You know, this building won't be that close. Now, granted, they're going to have some parking there, but they're going to be, even the parking area is going to be probably 15 to maybe 20, but probably at least 15 feet from the property line. So there's going to be more green space on this side of the property line than on the other side of the property line.
So, but there's no like fencing or anything to kind of give them a little bit of a break of looking at this property?
No, we did not propose any fencing on that.
The property that you're saying is close, or the residence, that would be just to the south, correct?
If you look at the plan at the east property
East side,
line,
yeah.
and then just about 10 foot east of there is two different quadplexes there. So we've got two different rectangles there. They're very close to property line, which created a more difficult situation to do the stormwater detention pond because of the setback requirement on the ponding levels. So, yeah, they're very close to the property line.
And can you remind us once again, he read this, but So what's the purpose of, is there one or two buildings?
It's one building.
Okay.
But there's going to be a hair salon and then an office. So it's going to be like a strip center.
Yeah.
Kind of
thing there.
But it's going to be multiple uses there.
Or, I'm sorry, I didn't do my homework enough, I guess. So this is an L shape
L-shaped piece of property, yes.
piece of property.
Yes.
The building, though, is on that southernmost.
It's on the lot.
The deep lot, right?
Yes.
Okay, and it faces out on 47?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. It sits back a little further than the building to the north.
Yeah.
This building's front is almost lined up with that building's rear. And part of that was the stormwater that we had to route.
Right.
We couldn't push it up hardly anymore with as wide of a front building that the owner wanted. They wanted the frontage of the building instead of a deeper building because they have multiple storefronts. So
Right.
For consistency purpose, is the plan for a paved parking lot?
yes. Yeah, it's new construction, so it's
Required.
if we don't do a paved one, we have to let you know that.
Yeah. I think that's a good use for that property
Yeah.
there.
Now I know why it took so long for somebody to build on it.
Oh yeah, it's been a challenge.
And thanks for working with that detention there. That's got to be a headache, but that looks good there, what you guys have done.
Yeah, I've been working on this one for probably 5-6 months.
Well,
Just trying to
it's good to know
get
you're
everything
working.
fit.
It's good to know you're working. We just think you play around here, so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all your time on that, though.
So, okay, I'm just curious. It's just interesting that it's an office area and then a hair salon.
Right. So, I believe the owner's daughter is a hairstylist.
Okay.
I believe that's how this is all working out.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Do we know what they would be putting in the future addition that is on there?
So, if the future addition would go on there, it would probably have an overhead door so they could store some inside materials to store whatever. But
So I know that, I think it was in your presentation that this is planned for no outside storage. This is just their
storefront only right now.
administrative and storefront.
Because if we did outside storage, we'd be doing a conditional use, and for now, we're just doing the site plan.
Right. Good question. Entertain a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve site plan 183 for the Ragosa contracting site plan as displayed and discussed.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cullum, second by Mr. Cornell to approve the Ragosa contracting site plan 183. Any other further questions at this time? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Jepson?
Yes.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Dedeman?
Yes.
Mr. Cornell?
Yeah.
Ms. Madden?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. That'll come in front of the board on June the 17th. At this time, we'll close. Thank you, Bart. At this time, we'll close the meeting and turn it over to Mr. Burks.
Okay, so there's no meeting for July.
Okay.
And a reminder, we do have a planning meeting next Thursday on the 12th at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock here.
Yes. That's all I have.
Anyone else have anything for the good of the group? Entertain a motion to adjourn. Now, Mr. Deitch is not here. Somebody's going to have to do it.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Dedeman to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cullum? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks for coming out. Have a great night.